Okay, so I'm out in my beautiful garden on July the 5th, so I figured I would just show you everything and the update and status of how everything's going real fast before I start doing all of my normal garden chores. I have to fertilize tonight, and I actually just got done trimming and pruning the tomato. It is getting very out of hand, this plant is. I'll show you in a moment. And then pruning some of the cucumbers out and putting one of my new garden beds together. So I'll show you all of that and what else I'm going to be working on tonight and just the status of all of it. Alright, let's take a look. Okay, so this is the view from my backyard looking onto the back of the house. I have my one original garden bed right here, the new garden bed that I just actually unpacked and put out a few minutes ago, and this is where my compost bin is currently. And then I've got some potted plants over there, a little tree, and then the rest of my backyard. And then over here in the corner of there's where my patio garden is, which you have seen if you've watched one of my previous episodes. So first things first, we'll look at the actual garden bed. Now for any new viewers, I live in San Antonio, Texas, and this is my first summer growing here. And so this is my garden in San Antonio, Texas here. This is a 4x4, and this is also a 4x4, but obviously there's nothing growing in it right now. So one excerpt here, the garden bed materials here, you can buy these on Hayneedle, that's where I bought mine. And these are made out of vinyl and recycled plastic. They are actually really impressive. They're very lightweight, and they actually have no type of materials needed to put it together. You just put them in these little slots all the way around very, very easily. They are almost always $49.20, but if you subscribe to their email list, in like a week after subscribing, they'll send you a 10% off coupon, and you can get that on anything over $49, and you get free shipping on anything over $49. So they will actually still give you free shipping if the original price was over $49. So since this is $49.20, this last one cost me $44 after all of that, and I got it in like 3 days, which is very nice. So this is where my compost is. You can see all the cucumber and tomato stems that I actually just pruned off. I'll show you the cucumbers in a second. I had issues with some of my cucumber plants trying to die on me, and then the tomatoes just getting out of hand. I really had to prune it back. So this right here is my primary bed. Now, this behemoth of a tomato plant is one single plant. There is a secondary tomato plant over here, which is obviously nothing like this one. This is a Better Boy, and it is huge. And you can just imagine what all it looked like a moment ago. I should have showed you previously, but I didn't think about grabbing the camera. So this is completely overgrown. I have been very busy, and I haven't pruned any suckers, and I usually don't anyway. But I've actually, I don't know if you can tell where this tomato right here is ripening, but it is not as big as tomatoes need to be. So I think a little bit of pruning of the suckers would have gone a long way here, because I believe that even though I was feeding it fertilizer well, I've got a good amount of compost in the bed, I don't believe the tomatoes were given a chance to get as big as I would like them to. But the plant is huge. It does not have as much fruit anymore as I would like. It's already over 100 almost every day in San Antonio, and tomato plants have a hard time holding flowers and therefore fruit above 95 degrees. So it is on its downward part of its life here. So it's not going to produce much more, because through July and August it's 100 almost every day. So I'm not too convinced what I'm going to get on it anymore, but I'm going to continue trying. So here we have all of our green bean plants. This is a striker bush bean, and I have gotten an insane amount. I am never growing at the top of green bean. I think all of you should try this one. It's a bush variety, which I like a lot better than pole, but it has just gone insane. Now, the little bit of issue with the leaves here, it had rained a bunch in multiple days in a row, and the cucumbers got blight, and then I think it would just went over to the green beans a little bit, but they're still producing very well. I actually just picked through it last night, and they're still going crazy again. It's a very, very prolific bean. I've gotten buckets of these continuously. Every 2 or 3 days I'm picking them, and there are surprising numbers constantly. So it's very, very good. Now this right here is just a key lime that I got when I moved here, a few months ago from the nursery. I got it because it had blossoms all over it. Now this key lime is very interesting because I'm not sure if all the key limes do, but this one, every like 3 or 4 weeks it puts out new blossoms. And so you'll see big fruit like this, you will see little small fruit like that, you will see flowers up here actually. If I can find that on the camera right there, there's some flowers. And if I can find some of them, there are actually medium-sized fruit on here, like that one as well. So every few weeks it puts on more flowers to make up for the fruit that actually died on it, which is very neat. So it was very full, which is very nice. I love limes. So right here are the cucumbers. So these cucumbers here started here with, I believe, 4 plants. And they've all but, I believe, 1 or 2 in there actually died back. So what I actually did a moment ago is there was a plant right here and a plant here, and I actually just pulled them out because all of their, all of the plants, all of those plants had actually died. This whole thing was full here, but it got blight really bad. I was gone for a week, and the whole plant just decided to stop trying. I think it just got way too much water. It rained every day while I was gone. So this right here is our cucumber, but if you look, I'd actually planted new seeds about a week ago so that I could still get cucumbers. Now, right now, I've honestly, no joke, I think I have about 20 cucumbers in my fridge. So I have gotten an abundance of cucumbers, so I'm not that worried about it. But I still want more plants to come out. And if you look over here, the plants are actually coming back to life. Even though a lot of them are dead, you can see that all the way around here, and on this other side right here, they are all coming back. And this one actually poked its head through the beans and is not coming over here. So the plants are actually alive. So I'll let 2 more of these baby seedlings come out so I don't have too many, and then I'll have another 4, and those will start producing cucumbers in probably about 45 days, and I'll continue to have too many. This right here is an old German tomato, and I won't spend too much time on all this because I want to make this video reasonably short. But this tomato never came out very well. It's not really produced anything, honestly, and I'm not sure why. I'm not sure if a lack of sunlight issue or too many other things growing. I just don't know. And then with these peppers here, same thing. I've got a handful of peppers off these, but besides those 2 banana peppers that are growing right there, I've had very little success with the peppers this year. I did start everything about a month late because I just moved to San Antonio, and so usually you start everything in the middle of February here, and I was basically at the middle to end of March, so it was already getting pretty hot by the time I put all of my veggies out. And I started some by seed. The peppers I bought from the nursery, tomatoes I bought from the nursery, and the green beans and the cucumbers are started from seed. Usually I start everything from seed, but I knew I couldn't do that. I had to do some of the slower growing ones, including the okra. I had to buy those nursery starts because I got here so much later. But I've already got all of my fall veggie crops in the garage, which are all started by seed, and they're coming up now. So, and I also have here the okra. I actually right before I started here, picked 6 more okra off here. I got 4 on these plants, and then 2 from the other little garden over there. And you see this tomato, it is trailing down here and trying to grow up. It's got suckers going everywhere. It really does impress me how big this plant is, but you know, honestly, I wanted this plant to get as big as possible, really, because we're going to have like 30 plus people here for my daughter's birthday, and I wanted to show it off. But showing it off and how big it is, it's kind of pointless if it's not producing tomatoes very well. And like I said, they're not getting very big, so I should probably just stop doing that. Okay, so moving on. So we have an orange tree here. This was bought online a while back, and you see it's growing well. It's got new growth. It's doing well. this is a fig. This is a Petite Negra. It will produce fruit for the first time next year. So it can actually, it'll only grow about 3 feet tall, but it will produce fruit at 12 inches. So it will definitely produce fruit next year. These are blueberry top hats, or top hat blueberry plants. I'm not sure, whichever way it's said. These are really cool because they're meant for container, and they will actually get about maybe 2.5 feet tall, and they'll just form a nice little top hat around. So you've got to actually prune them accordingly, because you see here, let me pull one out. It obviously is going everywhere right now, but you prune it out, and so I'll prune this in the fall, and then it'll actually start producing for the first time this next year as well. This is a Pickering mango, so this guy will get very, very tall. You see, we have nice new growth here. This whole stem right here has been about the last week and a half, which is really nice. It has grown really well. These are all actually in shade, so it only gets morning sun and then shade the rest of the day. So places like San Antonio, they get this hot, you have to have all this kind of stuff in shade if it's in a pot, because it just gets so unbearably hot it can't survive. It really can't. And so one little thing here we see on our orange tree, it is putting out little growth all along the stem. So it is a very healthy plant, and I've actually pruned this recently and then to try to get it to grow more up. So I pruned some of the side growth, and as you see, it is starting to grow up in multiple different directions. So it's very pretty. These are just plants that I started randomly inside. These are pepper plants, Keystone bell peppers that I started. I put them outside, I believe, yesterday, so they're having a little bit of shock. I didn't really weather them properly. You're supposed to put them in the shade, and I did actually, never mind, I put it 2 days ago because I did have them in the shade yesterday, but you're supposed to have them in the shade longer than that instead of just putting them out this quick. But you know, I actually don't need these really. I don't know if they're going to stay in this pot and just grow like this, or I don't know. I've already got my peppers started inside, which are a lot smaller for my fall garden. It's going to be planted outside in August. I don't really need these. I'd honestly just have a problem and continually start new plants because it's fun. Alright, these are peppers here. This pepper I picked 12 peppers off of it. It stopped producing and it was unhappy, so I cut everything off, and now it's all growing back. This was the same way, and it's all this one actually never actually really produced anything, I don't think. It was always doing bad, so I gave it a new start by cutting it back. Okay, so real fast, I got elephant ear plants. These will be an episode soon. Got these from my friend. His wife's father gave me a bunch of elephant ear plants. I love these, and I've actually got a really big one in the front yard right now, which you'll see on a different episode if you want to check that out. These he gave me all bare root, and so I potted them all, and the other one was in a big root ball, so I put it in a big whiskey barrel. Okay, so on the side here is my little patio garden. I love this thing. This is really fun. So I've also got a video where I showed me putting all these stones in. They're all buried about halfway, and I got all these free on Craigslist. I've also talked about this garden bed. This bed only gets about 3.5 hours of direct sunlight a day, and even though it only gets that amount of sunlight, it actually grows things very well. I'm really happy. A lot of things do need 6-7 hours of sunlight. I'm not going to say anything can be grown like this, but there's a lot of things you can grow with less than 4 hours of sunlight and it still worked beautifully. So here is my mint basil plant. This was started from seed, and it is going insane. Oh man, actually no, I'm sorry, this was not started from seed. I got this the same this year. I'll make sure I don't tell you anything wrong. I got this one also at the beginning of the year, at the end of March. These over here, actually, so these right here were all cutting from the parent plants. So that's the one to the far right is the lime basil, sweet basil, lemon basil, and sweet basil. I had a lemon and a sweet, and I actually wanted to move them, so instead of just transplanting them like I did the lime when I put that one over here about a month or so ago, I just took cuttings, and these are only about a month old plants, and that's how big they are. So they will love not being as much sun. They're happy. This strawberry's fine. It's got little berries there. It's doing well. I just transplanted this rosemary a little bit ago. I got a snapdragon here. My wife likes it. It's doing good. It actually likes not having too much sun. The sunflower's looking a little bit janky. It put out that nice sunflower. It didn't even have that when it came out here, but it put it out, and now it kind of stopped growing. So maybe put a sunflowers, you can't grow it in less sun. Right here we have an oregano, and beautiful, doing very well. Here we have okra. These okra have been producing very nicely already. I picked some today before I started this episode. It looks very nice. They're growing very well. This is a random tomato that I got for 25 cents because it was dying at the store, and I just say put it in the ground. The tomatoes aren't probably going to produce much over here because of the sunlight issue, but they're just fun, pretty ornamentals in this case, and that's fine. They're pretty. Back here I've got a mint plant which is absolutely going insane. This whole bed will be taken by mint if I'm not careful. Oh, it's gorgeous though. And then this is an orange Russolini tomato that I got from M.I. Gardener, and if you look on it, this is actually kind of cool. I have tomatoes. So this was put in this bed. I started this from seed in March, and then I put it in this bed about a month and a half ago, and it has grown that much in that amount of time. It's grown huge in that amount of time. It's got 2 massive big stems here. It's got flowers all over it, and it is actually setting fruit in under 4 hours of sunlight and setting fruit in over 100-degree weather. Look at that. This is a plant you need to get. Very resilient. Again, under 4 hours of direct sunlight and over 100 degrees, and it is setting fruit. That is something my other tomato plants refuse to do. I love this tomato now. It is gorgeous. And so I also put all these stones back here because my cat, Duck, wants to constantly try to dig up and poop back here because he is an outside cat, and that cannot be tolerated. So, trying to prevent that. And I actually got some more cool little plants at the store yesterday, I believe. Yes, yesterday, 4th of July, at the nursery, and they're all $2 a piece, little herbs, really fun ones. I'll show in another episode, which I'm actually going to put right here in the bare spots. So, it is going to look great. So this is my little side garden, and that'll be it, guys. So that's a garden update for the 5th of July 2017. Stay with me and I will show you another update in about a month, and we'll see where we are then. Alright, talk to y'all later.